Today I will be talking from I can build features to we can build scalable systems together. So today we are not just talking about what you alone can build, but we are talking about how you can build with other people too, and how you can what are the things you need to know to build with other people. So the developer's reality. Many developers start their journey coding alone, which is by building personal projects. That's by doing tutorials, watching tutorials, by freelancing tasks, and by solo debugging. You get. So I think that's the beginning of every developer. If you are starting to like you want to start writing code or anything, you start alone. You get. But the thing is, as time goes on, you start working on bigger projects, as you start working on bigger tasks, you like need to like work with other people too. So that's when you now have to like start teaming up with other developers, teaming up with project manager, teaming up with product designers and everything. So we are going to be talking about all the things you need to know just to team up with them. So for professional software engineering things, that's when you start working with real world software or real world products. So what is the big question? The big question is, can one developer build a real product system alone? Well, the answer is yes and no actually, because if you just want to build MVP, or you just want to build like the first version, or you just want to build a small application, you get, or if that you just want to build something that to like bring out your idea out, you can be like you can be like a solo developer just to build down, you get. But once you build a real system, like you want to build like a banking app, or you want to build a system that is very big, you get, and to do a lot of things, then you will need to bring in front-end developer, you need to bring in back-end developer, you need to bring in QA testers or QA engineers, you need to bring in DevOps engineers, you need to even bring in designers to design those pages and everything. You need the product team, you need marketing team and everything. You get. More like if you want to build the next big thing, only you alone cannot what do you call it build that. So you will have to like later on bring in new people to form a team. So let us start with the coding alone mindset. If you are coding alone or if you are just a one-time developer, the mindset you have. Coding alone, you just like focus on as long as your code it works actually. So that's your main mindset. The main thing is it work perfectly. You make all decision yourself. Yeah, you actually make all the decision yourself because you are the only one working on the project, and since it's a small project, so you can make all decision yourself. You get. No need to explain your code to anyone. Yeah, that's because you are the only one writing on you are the only one working on the code. The structure depends on personal preference. Yeah, you can decide to structure your code anyhow. You can decide to even carry your page, maybe code that is meant to be inside a page, you can put inside your component. Anyhow you want to do it, since you are the only one working on it and it's a small project actually, because it's only a small project you can be the only one to work on. You cannot work on a big project alone. You need to bring in people later on, and since it's a small project you can decide to structure it anyhow, because you are the only one that is working on it, and as long as you understand the code and nobody else is working on it on the small project, you can structure it anyhow. You can move fast without discussion too. So that's just the mindset of coding alone if you are just a solo developer. And this is great for learning and experimentation. Let's say you are learning like a new framework now, or you want to experiment on something. Yeah, you can just like take one or two small projects you get just to like work on it alone. Now when you're not building with a team, this time you're not just coding alone, you're not just building a small software or anything. You're building big software, a software that you expect that is going to expand later on in the future. Then you need a team, which is building with team. Number one, you work on shared code base, meaning you're not the only one working on the code. You have other developers too that are working on the code for you. Your codes affect other developers. That's the second point. Yeah, that's one other thing you need to know, because when you're working on in a team, if you are working on a particular code and your team is also working on a particular code, remember that you're going to push actually. So once you push, your code can affect other developers too, because they to do have to like pull what you push actually you get and work on it. So you have to have it at the back of your mind that when you're working with a team, you can also affect other developers. Then consistency becomes more important than personal style. Yeah, when you're working with a team, you have to like try and follow the pattern actually, not necessarily being okay. This is how I write my own code, because if every other team members or every other developer are following one like structure or one part of writing their code, then you too just have to like follow that structure too, because it's not only you that is working on that thing on the code. Then documentation becomes necessary. When you're working with a team, then you have to like document your whole process. Okay, this is what we are going to be doing today, you document it down. This is the feature we're going to be adding, you document it down. You get, so that other two can carry others to along by reading your documentation too. And in case you even want to onboard a new person to your code, just by reading the documentation, you can know, okay, this is what the whole project is all about too. So good documentation is needed. Then communication becomes part of engineering. Yes, you must have that communication skills. You must be able to like communicate with other developers. Like if you have an issue or you run along with the bug, you always like communicate with other developer. Okay, this is what I'm facing. How can you come in? How can we do this? Or you have an idea. You always communicate it to others. Okay, let's just try this. Let's just try this. Let's just try this. Let's add these new features. You get. So team development is less about individual brilliance and more about coordination. So working with a team is less about just you alone, but more about you and every other person in that team. So what changes in team's environment? The first thing you need to know when you want to start working in a team environment is, first thing is, you write code for other humans to understand. That means you're not just writing code that only you will understand. So that means your code must be well structured and must be clean. You are writing the clean code, because other people too will be working on your code too. They'll be reading your code, they'll be updating your code too, so they'll know something they can understand. You follow naming convention and standard. That means if you want to create a function, let's say you want to create a function that gets users, then you can just name it function get all users. You get. And if to just get a particular user, you can just name it function get particular user. So once other people like, okay, they come to your code and they see it, just by the naming of the function, they can know, okay, this is what it does. You get. So you follow naming convention and standard. You discuss architecture decision. So whenever you are in a meeting with other team members, you remember when you're in a team environment now, you're not the only one doing the decision making. So when you're in a meeting, you guys have to like discuss the whole plan, the whole architecture. Okay, this is what we want to do. This and this is what we want to do moving forward. You explain your reason during reviews too. Then you learn to separate egos from feedback. This is one thing you really need to know. Once you are in a team setting now and they give you a feedback, it doesn't necessarily mean it like, okay, whether the person want to like is having an issue with you or anything. You need to like able to accept feedback, even if it's even going to be negative feedback. You need to like accept feedback very well. Then communication is an engineering skill. This is one skill every developer, not even only developer, if you are working in a team, even if it's project management, if it is security, cyber security, as long as you are working in a team, wherever you must have like good communication skills. You get to communicate with other. So now, many developers underestimate this, which is number one, explaining bugs clearly saves times. This is one thing you need to know. If you are having an issue now, let's say, okay, yeah, the issue now is, okay, if user click on an exact button now, it is showing one error. Instead of just telling other team members that, oh, the page is showing error, you can just explain to them that it is when they click this exact button or when they do this exact thing, this is when the error or the bug will come up. You get. So that way your other team members can know, okay, this is where we're going to focus on. This is where we're going to focus on to solve the issue, and that way you are saving more time too. That's one. Writing good pull requests improve collaboration too. You write good pull requests also to improve collaboration. Asking the right question prevents mistake too. So anytime you are in a meeting, instead of just going around the bush, you ask the right question. Then good communication reduce confusion in teams. Strong developers communicate early, clearly, and not just write code. So for you to be a very good developer, it's not just only about you just being able to write code. You must also have good communication skills too. So we're talking about Git in real time because GitHub is a tool that is the tool we use when you're writing while dealing with a team, because that's where you push all your code and everything. So Git is not just only push and pull. Team works with branches and workflows. Yeah, when you're working with a team, you create different branches so that just to avoid lot of conflict and merge, you create different branches. So when you create different branches, each people push to different branches, and then you check it, and if there's any conflict, you resolve it, then you merge everything together. Then pull requests help review code quality too. So anytime you are pulling to you want to push a code on there, you can write okay. Let's say you made a changes, like you add a new feature. When you want to pull to, then once you want to push, then you also like add this message, okay, this and this is what you added, or you can add a very good read me file too so they can understand. Mesh conflicts is normal in collaboration too. Then clean commit history improve maintainability. So that's all about Git in real time. So writing code for humans now. So you write clean structured code. I've talked about it earlier because you are writing code for other human beings to read. So your code must be cleaned and well structured, since you are not the only one reading or you're not the only one working on the code. Other people must be able to like see your code and be able to like understand it. Readable meaning readable naming matters too. You must be able to write code that just by reading the names of a function, a variable, just by reading it, other developer can understand what your code is trying to do. Predictable patterns matters too. The way you structure your code, the pattern at which you write your code to, you just follow is the same pattern to with others too. Maintainability matters more than shortcuts. So you are writing code that you will be able to maintain even in the next 6 months. If you are working in the next maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you must be writing code that is easy for them to maintain, and they can come back to it after like 2 3 years and they can still work on it. You get, so that means you won't be writing basic code, you have to be writing clean code. Then future developers should understand your code quickly. Yeah, because when you're working on a very big project or you're trying to work on the next big thing, in the next 2 years, 3 years, as the code or as your product expand, as everything grows, you need to like bring in new developers to join the team in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So it must be something that even when new developers join the team in 4 years, 5 years, just by reading your code, they should understand or know what your code is doing. So that's why you must be able to write clean code. Good code is not just functional code, or it's not just code that just work, but it is code that is understandable. I've mentioned make mention of that. Writing code that are well clean and understandable. So code reviews now. Writing code. Code reviews are not personal attack. I've said this before too. So whenever they are reviewing your code or reviewing your team members and they make an issue concerning your code, don't see it as an attack. You get, it's just a review, just like okay, what can we do to make the code more better? This helps teams maintain quality. By reviewing the code with other team members, dey help to like improve your code too. This expose hidden bugs early too. There might be bugs you might not notice too, but once let's say you give it to your dis thing QA tester to test the code and everything, they might find a bug that you might not know, so they might help you, okay, here's a bug you need to fix too. Dey create shared learning opportunity. Yeah, once you are coding or you're having a code review now, let's say Mr. A is the one that write the code now, then you're having a code review with Mr. B, C, D, E, and let's say you want to fix a bug. and you are in a meeting. When you fix the bug in the meeting, in your code review, Mr. B, C, and D will see how, okay, this is how you fix your bug, and that way they are learning. If you want to add a new feature too in the code review too, and you add the new feature too, also those are also in the meeting too, they see how you added the new feature, they are also what? Learning. So it's also like a form of learning for others too. Then this improve long-term maintainability. So once the code is being reviewed by 4 5 people in the team, that means if all of them will have like understanding of what your code does, you get. So meaning in the long run, even if you are not available to like to maintain the code, since other people too in the room also understand what your code is all about, then it will be easier for them to like maintain. You don't want to update it, they want to improve the code, it's easier for them to also what? Work with the code. So if you are working with a team, you have to like review your code every time. Great team normalize feedback too. Then moving to the next point, which is where developers usually struggle. Ego during collaboration. I've said it before that anytime they give you a feedback, even if it's negative feedback, don't see it as an attack. It's just to like improve or what is best for the team. Poor communication habit too. You must be able to have a good communication habit. You must be able to communicate with other team members too on the team. Then lack of documentation. This is one thing almost every developer lacks, because I can say almost every developer don't document their codes and everything. And proper documentation is needed, because once you onboard people to a project, the documentation can be what the whole project is all about sef, even without the code. Like, okay, by them understanding what the project is about, then they can know, okay, this is what and what I would want the code to. So not asking question early enough too. Okay, let's say something is, or you don't understand something, they say you should do something, okay, yeah, means okay, do this task, but you don't understand very well. Instead of you asking the question, you went ahead to do it, but since you don't understand, you actually went to do the wrong thing. You come back again the next meeting, they correct you, you don't understand. Instead of you asking question, you just assumed you understand. That way you are actually wasting time, because the time for you used to go back, you do the wrong thing, you come back again, the time have wasted already. Then writing code only they can understand. This is one thing some developers do, and they are writing code in the team. They don't have it in the back of their mind that okay, other people to also work on their team, so they won't write a code that other people can understand, which is not meant to be so. So these are the things you need to look going forward if you want to start working in a team. These are the things you need to avoid going forward as a developer too. Then senior developer mindset. Well, no matter the field we are, if you are a product designer, you are a designer, you are a developer, you are into cybersecurity or any field, there's is one thing is you want to be a senior in your field, you get. And for you to become a senior in your field is by you having the mindset of a senior, you get. So I will talking about some senior mindsets for you to become a senior developer. Number one, you think in system, not isolated file. You think, okay, this system you are building, what is it going to do? If I add this thing, how is it going to improve the workflow of what we are doing? Not just you thinking about just this only, okay, just only this component alone. No, you think about the system, not just the file. You think long term, not just temporary fixes. You get, you're thinking, okay, this changes we want to make, or this bug we want to fix, um in the long run, hope is not going to break, hope is not going to like cause any issue in the long run. Then you think maintainability and not just speed too. Yeah, I know it's good to write, it's good to like write code and fast and do it, but also have to think, okay, in the long run, is it going to be easy for other people to maintain? If other people come on board, are they going to be like able to do this thing, maintain the code going forward? Then you think collaboration, not individual performance. You must be able to think, okay, I need to collaborate with other people. But yeah, you need to collaborate with DevOps on engineer. You need to collaborate with other people where like those in marketing team and other team too. Think impact on the entire team. Yeah, As a senior or senior developer mindset, you think that okay, what I'm building now, what impact is it going to have on others? Let's say you're a backend developer and you're creating API. You think, okay, the API I'm going to return, the data I'm going to return in my API, is this something that the front-end developer has called the API and he sees his data? Is this something you understand? Or what I'm sending, is this something that the front-end developer will have to like enter my generator and ask, good afternoon, sir. This is what I got from your API. Can you explain? Can you explain? Can you explain? No, you must say, okay, how am I going to write the API whereby just by the developer, just front-end developer seeing it, you can understand, okay, this is what the API is going to do, and this is how it's going to integrate it. So senior engineers reduce complexity for other people too. So that brings me to the end of this my presentation. I'll just give you this key takeaway. Great developers do not just write code. They build system other developer can understand. They build system other developer can maintain. They build system other developer can scale, and they build system that other developer can improve together with them. So the future of software engineering is in collaboration. So as a developer, you must have this mindset that yes, you want to like collaborate with other people too, and not just only you. So that means you must be able to write code that other people too can understand, and you must also have good communication skill too. So that brings me to the end of my presentation this morning. So I want to ask, does anybody have any question before I go on to ask my question? Please, can you confirm if you can still hear me, please? Chat. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, you can go on.
Let me say, as a developer, can a non-developer read and understand your code?
Can you?
Can a non-developer read and understand your code?
Okay, that if you give a non-developer your code, will you be able to understand your code, right? Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yes, something like that. Because you talked about
I don't think. Yes,
hello.
continue.
You talked
Yeah,
about it in
continue.
your
I'm hearing you.
you talked about it in your this thing, your code usability category. So that's why I asked the question.
If you are a non-developer actually, right? I don't think you can understand the code actually. Yeah, I don't think so. You get, because understanding code is not just by just looking at it. Because if you are a non-developer and I give you my code to, you won't understand what the code is trying to do, or what the code is not trying to do. So a non-developer cannot understand the code actually. But the main thing is you'll be working with other developers too. You get, you won't be the only developer on the team. You get, so you must be able to write a code whereby even if you stop somewhere, another developer can come in. You get, and it too can continue from where you stop without having too much issue. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
get, but normally if I give a non-developer my code, I don't even expect a non-developer to understand the code, because he doesn't have the idea of what my code is all about, or coding actually. But if I should, I can, but that does not mean that if I write a code now and I give a beginner or somebody that is into the, you get, software developer, you should be able to understand my code. Hope you get my point now.
Okay, okay, yes.
I hope I'm able to answer the question. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Does any other person understand? Oh, I'm sorry. Does any other person have any question for me? Okay. I don't. I think that's all. So let me move on to ask my own question. Why is this always popping up? Yeah. So my question is: do you think strong communication skill can make somebody a better engineer? That's my first question. Does anybody want to answer that? Yeah, you can go on, Peter Abia. I hope
Good
I got.
morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right. Thank you very much for the wonderful statement. It was very insightful. Yes, I think good communication can make someone a better engineer. Because like you mentioned, if you're a good engineer and you're not able to communicate clearly to either your teammates or whoever needs to access or read what is written, then it means your technical expertise is just in your head. But when someone can actually understand you, they can offer points or give you pointers for where you can grow and do better. So it definitely helps me to better engineer. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, correct. Thank you. So a good developer, you need good. For you to be a good developer, you need good communication skills. Why is this one coming up? Absum. Now, the second question is, what is the biggest challenge you have faced while collaborating with other developers?